Why is there feedback? No, anyway. Yeah, the Snyder Cut finally released on March 18th, and a long-awaited movie. And a well-deserved movie as well. It's hard for a 4-hour film, it's very hard where to start. And it's always a big struggle because you don't know where to start. The film is so complex, intelligent, and sometimes you're wondering, should I go back to rewatch some of the scenes, or did I miss any of the scenes? I was there, like, especially for the bit when the Joker appears. I was wondering, is he even going to appear? And it caught me off surprise. This is a spoiler review, so if you're not wanting that, then please click off it and go somewhere else. But if not, if you're here to listen to my review, then yes, let's talk about it. If you do have any questions, just put in the chat. I will also put it here, which I forgot to put any questions. Please in chat. Let's put it in the chat. Okay. Got that established. And yeah, so let's go from the beginning. We start off with like the terrorists and everything, with Wonder Woman, and for me, because I had to go and watch a couple of scenes back and everything, for me, it works so much better. We also we get the fight scenes seem longer, faster, more brutal, which I've noticed with this film is a lot more brutal. So if you like Marvel fans or anything, or people who are very sensitive to stuff like this isn't your film. Which isn't DC. DC is always being dark. I've always liked DC because they take it onto the next level. I find that I like Marvel films, certain movies, but I find them very repetitive, as a case with a lot of them. But I still do enjoy them. I find that Darkseid wasn't put here because he was here as well. I think Darkseid was well deserved to be here. I found that when you have like a film cameo for no reason, just to get audience hyped, it wasn't just Darkseid there. There was a reason why, and the whole movie is so better than the Whedon cut. I want to say that the story element, especially, we don't have to go through this, mother that. There's none of that in this. Which I found. Let me make me bigger. Bigger is better. Yeah, I found that it was such a relief, so well deserved, that he's not basically doing this to for a mother or whatever, or so in the Whedon version I thought he might have referenced Granny Goodness or that, and how he would relate to her, because he kept saying mother, and maybe he was, I don't know, related, so I was there like. But the fact that he's doing this as respect for Darkseid proves to you that the story element is so much better. Like, not only is it a band getting together to fight this man who's seeking for redemption, basically, from a family member, but not just an ordinary family member, but he's looking for this redemption. So we have this awesome character. Like, we have this character, what is actually being explained, and his story's been developed It's not. Yes, you could say it's 4 hours, but it's a well-deserved 4 hours. You could have put action, action, action there, action here, but it's not just action. It's character development, and that's something that the Whedon cut didn't have. The Whedon cut didn't have character development, which for many fans and for me in particular, like Cyborg, Flash, I will say the Zack Snyder cut has not very good lines. Some of the lines are still in. The chemistry, I think, with the jokes isn't, but I find the chemistry when they're fighting so much better. And there was parts where you have parts where Wonder Woman breaks Steppenwolf's axe, and if I remember rightly, that that's in the Whedon cut. Sorry, and if I remember rightly, that it is Superman. Sorry, in Zack Snyder, Superman breaks the axe, and instead of Wonder Woman, it is so much better, and so much. It's not corny. There's a little bit of corniness into it, but it's nowhere near as corny as and he comes in, he's like, for justice, in the Whedon cut, which was really corny, but this is like, I'm not impressed. I like that line. I find it a very good line to have. I think it suits Superman as he's come back and this is the threat he has to beat. He beats him so quickly, it is laughable. But that's the idea: is that Steppenwolf was struggling a little with Wonder Woman. Imagine with Superman, so he just gets demolished by Superman, which is amazing. Also, we'll talk about his unfortunate exit from the DC EU. Is that we'll talk about that. But so we also have the ancient scene where all the gods, Amazons, humans, Atlanteans, all unite to take on Darkseid, which was, as you can tell, they changed it from Steppenwolf, and Steppenwolf is not even appeared in it, which is real. It shows you of like the visions of directors. It shows you the differences between directors and what makes a director. And I find that the Joss Whedon version is, yes, it's too soft, too light-hearted. If you want that, you can just go to Marvel, and that's not to say Marvel films are bad. I'm saying that they are good. It's just, for this one, if you're doing DC, you have to, if you're going to commit like the Joker film, then just commit. And they did. Well, Zack Snyder did. And it was such a thrill and such a ride to watch this film. I had one little intermission, as you say. I think it's intermission. One little, basically break from the film just to get a cup of tea, because I was so engrossed in the film. I think it was part 5, sorry. I stopped when we got to part 5. I was like, okay, I'm having a break. And yeah. And then I love the little spider thing when he's trying to get the intelligence out of for the mother boxes. I found that amazing. And the stupid line where it's like, I have a family, and he's like, and in the Whedon cut it was everyone keeps telling. Why does everyone keep telling me? Is that don't make him he's a warrior. And that's what I love about this film. He's a warrior trying to redeem himself. And he's doing everything in his arsenal. Everything that is necessary to stop this league. And stop this group trying to stop him. He's going to every length to try and kill them. It was so intense in the last battle. But even before that, we have backstory for for Cyborg, like it was like we actually got backstory. We actually have context. The thing what he felt out of place. Same with Flash. He felt out of place. But when we see the backstory, when we see all these elements coming together, it makes them feel worth being there. The problem is you have Batman versus Superman. We've seen Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman. They've already earned their spots. How do you introduce these new characters? I mean, it's not hard for Jason Momoa. It's not a character that you need to develop too much. Sort of getting into a group, because he does that himself. He's just got that persona. But then you have these new actors like Ray Fisher and I forget his name, but the Flash, basically. You have these two actors new, basically, and trying to step up to the game of like Batman, and Barry Flash is a hard pull at the start. I'm a Flash fan as well. I love my Flash, and it was a very hard start to get into him, because he was coming off like very comedic. He was trying to do so much comedy, and it wasn't working. It was that awkward comedy, and when they do awkward comedy, but it's the bad version where it's like no one's laughing at you. I think not even you all can laugh at this, and it just comes out. Did we need that? But later on, we get his comedy lets him down, but we get used to it, and I actually felt so bad for him. I was there, like there's a bit where he's having to get the electrical charge up when he's going around the city at the end, and when he gets shot in the right rib, not rib, waist. Sorry, I think it's the right waist or left waist. You feel so bad for him. You feel like I felt so bad for him. I was there like, geez, because you actually see how bad the damage does. Also, a criticism what's going to be a lot is that Batman kills and Batman does this. If you watch the original series of Justice League, they do actually, I believe they hurt or they really kill aliens. Yes, he does have this no kill rule. But also, this is the version after Jason Todd, and he's going through bad times at the minute, and not only that, but it's him or them. This is a whole new level. This is a whole new alien threat, and it's sort of close to the Justice League animated film what came out, Justice League War, I believe, and it's close to that. There's a line where he says, "Is like, I think he says it. I could be wrong, but it's just him versus like these the demons, and it was so good because I felt like as a human, like in that perspective, if you say. I think it was good to put your mind in his head is like, look, this is me or them, and you have to take advantage. Yes, there's no kill rule, but I think there is a exception when it's aliens trying to kill you, which everyone tries and kills him. But I mean, to the extent of the end of the world. So I think he can get a little pass on that, but. Even so, it was cool to see him actually defend himself. There was only one thing I think he was lacking, which is being ahead of everyone. I find that Batman should always be ahead of everyone, should always have a plan for everything, instead of thinking it on the spot. But other than that, I find it that great. Let's get to the Flash with his introduction. Found it very awkward. didn't find it like. I think that was a miss, to be honest. I felt like they emphasized on the Iris and Barry a bit too much. I found like it was like that gag of like just looking at your wristwatch of like, come on, what why are we extending this? And yeah, I just felt like it went on a bit too long, longer than it should have, which was a real shame because there was hyping up the whole Flash scene and his introduction to the film. But I think a big hit was Cyborg. I think his introduction, his whole arc was perfect. I have really, yeah, I don't have any faults for Cyborg. I think Ray Fisher did a really good job, and it's a real shame that the Whedon, they took all that out. I get that it was for the theatrical cut, but you just can't get these characters into one movie without bringing context and backstory. That's the whole idea. You can't rely on them getting their own movies. That's not how it works for film. Also, when let's get to Steppenwolf. When Steppenwolf arrives, I just want to say, even before that, the Amazonians, they looked perfect. They fought perfect. The acting was perfect. Everything was perfect there. No flaws. And even the fight scenes, that whole scene, that segment of fighting with the Amazonians, brutal. I loved every bit of that. He was not holding back. The thing is, I was at some point rooting for Steppenwolf. This Steppenwolf I felt like the delivery on the Whedon cut was, some lines were better, but this one, most of the lines were also better. It was 50-50 actually. I'd say it was 50-50 on lines, but I was there like, so what does this armor do except from, do its little ting ting ting, like going up? What does it actually do? What's its purpose? And it actually shows you. It's like he gets shot by arrows, and it just cuts them off, and like he doesn't need to rip them out. It just cuts it off, takes them out. Awesome. So it shows you just in a quick little brief that the armor is so crucial to him, because he's not like Darkseid. He can't just take every hit and just walk away from it. So it's good that you show that he does have flaws. He can be defeated, and he's just not OP, which is really good in a perspective of the audience, because now we know that he's not all powerful, and it clearly shows when Superman comes in and beats his ass. But for our other heroes, like it was so intense when he's getting annoyed at the end and he's literally fighting everyone. Like he's trying to hit Cyborg, and I've seen the same cut with the Whedon version, and the intensity is so much more on Zack Snyder's, which I think that's due to the story of who's coming, instead of it was sort of like the Whedon cut was sort of like the Suicide Squad, where we'll extend it and make it into our own vision world, or the apocalypse, and it doesn't work. Whilst if you say our leader's coming and he's going to kill your whole planet, that raises the stakes. You know that this god figure is coming to basically kill you all. And the fact that they have this scene where Darkseid just stares at them, and then you can tell that he's staring at a significant one, which is Superman. You can tell he's looking right at his eyes. It didn't even have to show where he's looking, and that's how great it was, because you just knew where he was looking. And even though they're on opposite sides of portals, I believe universe or different galaxy, you knew the stakes were high. You knew that Darkseid isn't gonna take it, and that's what I love. As soon as they finish it, he's like, no fat, no, I'm done. Screw planning, screw that. We'll do it the old way. We're going to there with my army, and I love that. He's like, look, I'm tired of this crap. We're going, and because you have this scene where Cyborg he has sort of this flashback, and this not flashback, sorry, a sort of a vision, as you would say, to this whole new I'd say would you say paradox, or not paradox, but I would say probably a new reality, as you would say, a reality where Darkseid comes in and kills everyone, and he does it with the Amazonians. To Wonder Woman. She has a fire in that. We have also, he kills Atlanteans, which was really cool to see as well, because he got to do his lasers, which was the Omega beams, which was really cool to show. There's just so much jam-packed in this movie, and it doesn't feel an overload. It feels all significant, especially as it's fitted in 2 chapters. It feels like you're reading a book. It feels like these are just, or a comic, should I say. You're reading these pages and you're like, wow, and then we actually get to have the comic book. Sorry, guys. We have this amazing comic book, basically, as you would say, and I'm there, like, I was going over like certain scenes and looking over it, and I was just there like, why was this cut? Why was that cut? You have this scene where Barry Flash is saving people. That's so significant to his part, like. And you have the bit when the Parademon's trying to shoot him, and yeah, it means he's just there like dodging it all, and it's like it's so cool, like them elements. I believe it was in the Whedon cut. I might be wrong, but I believe it was in the Whedon cut when he's dodging. But this one, it feels so much better, especially after the context of him saving people later, which was really good. Then we have the Cyborg's dad death scene. Let's talk about Cyborg's dad. His dad was what I expected him to be, still trying to help resistant Victor. And I found that Victor's dad was very convincing of why he wants to save him. Any means necessary, I guess. And he wanted to... I mean, it was just him wanting to save his son, basically. And I felt like it was well-deserved. And then we get to the sacrifice scene. So the sacrifice scene is so crucial. It's such a big moment in Cyborg, and why I think it doesn't come out corny or cringe, because I found that when I was watching it, he doesn't know it's going to work 100%. Steppenwolf's coming. He's going to kill him. The question is, can I stop it before he comes? And that's what I love. I love that. Look, this is the last. This is it. This is the end of the road, and I might as well try and stop it before he tries and takes it, which I found really interesting, especially when he's at the slow death scene, and when we're having the slow death scene, you can see the emotion in Cyborg. He's getting traumatized and everything, and yeah, it was such a good moment. Also, some of the shots on this film, I just want to express it so much. The shots on this film are like the color grading makes it so much better, and so much make it does the CGI and the special effects so much justice. No pun intended. But yeah, so we got to this scene of like in the city. I can't remember what city it is, but it's sort of like this Chernobyl city. Well, it looks like it. We didn't have no other family scene. We didn't have the crap bit where it's like Barry saving people. Everyone had a role. Everyone had a crucial role. They weren't on crowd duty or anything like that. Everyone had a role to save. They had a role to save. Had a chance to save the world basically, and that's something I thought it lacked in the Whedon cut, which is Superman's so OP. We'll have to get him on crowd control because we can't have time's running out. So come on, we still got a little bit of time though. but I felt like that's what the Whedon cut was lacking, and I felt like it's such a painful thing because you know how great this is compared to this. I don't think that the movie is perfect. I think the movie does have flaws, of course. I think it does fall as well. The thing is, I never felt bored in this movie, so I can't say I'm used to sitting down watching a 4-hour film, because I know it's going to probably be an experience and an enjoyment. And whilst watching it, there wasn't a moment where I'm there like, is this nearly? Are we getting near to the end? Come on! And nothing is like none of the actual scenes are like as good as part 5 and 6. But every chapter is so significant to the story. It has to be watched. There is crowd reactions. There is Amazonian reactions to what the damage is happening, and that makes the stakes so high. Because you're thinking, wow, it puts sort of us, the audience, perspective basically. And we're worried for our characters. I mean, fair dues to the Amazonians for defending the first mother box, and then you have the scene where Steppenwolf is just killing Atlanteans for the mother box, and it's so brutal. It's so good because it's so brutal. He's just like chopping one leg off and then chopping half of, and you see the black blood basically coming out of them. And then he's, like I said, he doesn't hold back. And then you have to think that you can imagine. I didn't mind it as well when he takes his armor off, because it shows me that another characteristic element to the character is like it shows you even more that he's not invincible. He's just it's sort of you being on Skyrim, putting armor on. You know you're not invincible, but you've got this good armor, and that's what Steppenwolf's like. He's like, yeah, he's just there like, I've got good armor. I'm a decent fighter. I can hold my own, and the fact that he's doing this all for approval makes it even better, and especially that we get context of why he's doing it, which is, I believe, a betrayal in the past, what he did with some others who lived on Apocalypse. and it was just I can't believe you'll see me laughing, like chuckling. That's because I can't believe how much better the story is compared to the other one. They're the same film, but they're so significantly different stories, and that's what makes the stakes so much higher on Zack's than here on Whedon's. And that's just one character, Darkseid. He's in the back of your head. He's there, like, you know he's coming. You know he's there, we've had this previous fight with the ancient gods, with, I believe it was Zeus. I mean, he Darkseid kills a Green Lantern, which was so brutal and it was so good, and he tries and grabs it, but he's like, no. I know that I believe the Steppenwolf in the Whedon cut also did the same, but it feels so much better and earned on the Zack Snyder one, because we know who Darkseid is, so we know how powerful he is, and I don't believe that's him at his proper power level, because don't forget this is a long time ago. So it's sorry. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, and it just shows you that there's also character development in Darkseid as well. It shows you that he's not all powerful at that part. He was sort of learning, trying to conquer. He overestimated Earth, and now he's coming back with his army to take over. But he's probably a lot stronger and a lot tougher. So those, I really, really, really hope Zack gets to finish his vision, and I hope that he gets to actually finish what he started, which was he can do a part 2. Yeah, I just think that it's a sad miss if he doesn't. I found that maybe next time he can actually succeed in his vision. But not everything comes to plan, unfortunately, and there's always them curbs, and it depends on what the DC wants to do in future, as we have that Flash film, what's coming out, and they might rewrite time, so anything can happen right now, but I would very much be up for a Part 2 Zack Snyder cut of the Justice League 2 of Darkseid coming. I found this movie such an experience, but not an experience of a bad experience. This was such a fun, enjoyable, like, there's not many movies due to COVID what has this level of action and that. And yes, you could say, oh, we've seen some of this. I would say 50 or 45% of the film is the Whedon cut, and then you have the other 50, which is Zack Snyder's cut, which is so good because that's so much footage. But also, I want to touch on Joker. Was I a fan of him? I felt that he does a lot better in this, so much better in this than the Suicide Squad version, and so I can't say they pay respect. I can say that Zack Snyder tried to pay respect, but just because of the damage, what happened with Suicide Squad and what happened, I felt like it left too much of a damage. He needs to have that sort of not solo film, but be joined in a film to try and spark again and do something different. Like this one, he was like his voice has changed. He's changed, and it just makes it's just a lot more enjoyable to watch instead of going him doing the growl. Still not convinced on his laugh, but I still was enjoying the performance, just like I was enjoying the whole nightmare scene. I thought that was great. I felt like it was so intense when Darkseid's walking back with Granny Goodness, and I forget the other character's name. Yeah, I don't remember the other character's name, but yeah, it was. Sorry, it was a lot of fun to do, to watch this, and the fact of being part of a generation where things can be rewritten, things can be messed with. I tweeted I sent a tweet. Sorry, I posted a tweet for Zack Snyder. Which is, I phrased this film as not a film, but as a piece of art. I think it's a piece of art is knowing someone like add stuff to your painting on that or like that, and you think no, it doesn't need to be added like that, and that's why I think this is like, I feel like the artistic choice was changed, and because it was changed in a not a forgiving way, as you would say, and it wasn't. I don't think they paid respect to all the characters. Also, I want to touch on Wonder Woman. Badass throughout the film, complete badass. I felt she was really holding up the group with like fight scenes. The action scenes were definitely Gal Gadot's best fight scenes. I've not seen Wonder Woman 2 yet, so I still need to see that. But at the minute, best fight scenes, just because they feel so intense. You feel like, especially when he's taunting her, saying that your mother begged me or whatever. It's like, it's so gritty in that it's like he's taunting her, and that's what I love, is that he like he's a warrior, but he taunts as well, and he's doing anything necessary to throw off his opponents, and that's what I really love about the film as well. I feel like I've said I love this film, so I do really like the film. Also, Aquaman, he wasn't a letdown. He was there, weren't he? And I think the main crucial moment was cut, unfortunately, which was, I think it should have stayed, which is when he gets the lasso wrapped around his arm. I think that would have been more significant to his arc of the story. Yeah, I just think it was a miss on Aquaman to make him more interesting in the story. But going back onto Steppenwolf, when he comes down, he's going just before Cyborg's dad dies. That's a whole new. I believe that's a whole new scene that he's just coming in, and it just feels like this wrecking ball just smashing through, and he's like, "You will give it to me," and I just find the fight scenes on a whole new level up here than the Whedon cut, and I was just engrossed in this movie, and I think everyone else who's going to watch it are going to be engrossed in the movie, and they're going to find this movie such a thrill and such an experience. They're going to remember this movie for a long time, just because of this is what could have been, and what could be in the later future. But I really hope that it does get finished. Also, I found that everyone reacting to Superman's scream as well was also very crucial to the story, as Darkseid's like, "Hey, he's dead. He's dead. Send in a crap guy to sort of scout it. Steppenwolf, you can go." But then when we see like Steppenwolf and going, it's so cool because he's not boring, and that's what I loved. I found him a lot more boring in the Whedon cut. This one I just felt like he was such a warrior, and that's what I loved. And with like everyone reacting, like I said, to the Superman scream, it's so chilling because you know what's going to come. Like as an audience, because we've seen the Whedon cut, we know what's going to come, we know what's going to happen. But then when we see it happen and how brutal, especially when the whole building falls in the Amazonian building with the mother boxes, I felt like that puts more like they'll do anything to stop this alien, this creature. They'll do anything to stop him because they know they don't underestimate him. And I feel like that's one of his downfalls, is that he underestimates the humans. But other than that, I just find the whole movie in general such a fun experience, and I will be watching it again, definitely. Also, can we just discuss Steppenwolf getting his head, like one of his head thorns or getting chopped off? It ain't no helmet. It's actually part of him, and he gets it cut off from Superman, your Boy Scout. He gets his head chopped off. Head chopped off. You heard me. Head chopped off. Such a better. And then it goes right in the portal, and then Darkseid looks and he's like, it was such a Thanos thing to do. It's like, fine, I'll do it myself. Bang, just like crush. It's like, send the Armada. It was such a Thanos thing, but it was enjoyable, and it wasn't. I don't think it was copycat. I felt like it was well deserved as a villain, and someone who's like, oh, this guy's coming. And unfortunately, unless they do make a future Justice League, I think that it's sad that we won't get a part 2. I think if we got a part 2, Zack Snyder has to definitely come back. Also, why I love the Zack Snyder's true slow motion cuts and slow motion. I love that because it shows me it's more. It's not that it's more cinematic. It's different, and we have many directors who do different stuff. So it's nice to have that different perspective. It's like we don't get many films off him, so it's nice to have that slow motion from this director. And then we have and then you might have a quicker paced director who likes everything more. I just want to talk about the scenes are a bit, they're dragged out, but they're not dragged out as they're longer, and they feel so good because it's actually character development, and we don't have no Flash being stupid in the prison with the do. It's just all good. It feels like a proper Justice League movie, and it was a Justice League movie. Everyone worked together. Everyone had a part. Everyone had a role. The story was so good that I'm finding flaws for the film, and I don't really have flaws. I have so many pros for it. The flaws, I find that the flaws, you have obviously the jokes, the awkwardness, some of the fight scenes. Like the fight scenes are way better, but do they work because of the awkwardness or teamwork? It lets it down a little, but I don't think it lets it down too much. I find that the fight scenes are well deserved, and it's so intense as well. So I don't really have a problem with the fight scenes. I love most of the fight scenes in this, especially when Wonder Woman's in it, because it feels a bit more fast paced, and it's always good to see what Steppenwolf's got up his sleeve. Because it's so cool to get sort of his idea of fighting skill. Like, it's not quick, it's not fast, he's a big brute, and he's coming to basically beat these members of Justice League, beat these humans, and every strike that he does with his axes feels so brutal. You know that he's not holding back. There's a crucial scene in here where in the Whedon cut, he talks to Cyborg saying, "Oh, you've seen Mother. You're part of Mother." It's like, oh god. It's like, stop. But this, he's like, kill them all, or kill them both. And he's a creature not holding back. So if you're looking for a villain who doesn't hold back, he's going in for the kills. There wasn't a bit where I'm like, oh, he's doing the whole like bad guy reveal. Oh no, none of that. He doesn't, like I said, he doesn't hold back to his fighting, and he does get defeated and embarrassed and ashamed, and it felt like I was watching the comic version of Justice League, and it was so fun. I just really enjoyed it. and I had so much fun watching it. Yeah, like I said, I'll be definitely watching it again. But I want to know what everyone else's thoughts are. I want to know what everyone thinks of the film, and yeah, just put it down in like the chat, the comments below. You know it is. But we've hit our hour mark. I've done everything. I think covered everything. If you got any questions or anything, just put it down in the comments below. And yeah, we'll follow me on Instagram if you want. If you want any more opinion on the movie. Yeah, because this movie was just an epic ride, and yeah, I just if you got any questions, just put it down in the chat. Just before I go, I believe it. I wouldn't say it's a 10 out of 10. I love the film. It's not a 10 out of 10. I'll tell you why. Like I said, is the jokes sort of lit it down a little. So a 10 out of 10 has to be it has to be up there. And I don't think it's a 10 out of 10. I would say it's an 8 out of 10, going on maybe a 9 on 10. But I'll have to rewatch it again to make my definitive answer on that. But it's so good and so well deserved. It's just such a thrill. It's such a thrill, and I can't believe that the same movie, Justice League, but how different it is, and that's it was.
Oh yeah.
Wait, what? What the heck was that? Wait, what did what the hell? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, if you're comparing it to the first one. Oh yeah, thank you for the follow. Sorry, I was there like, what is that? But yeah, it was. Yeah, that was. It is so much better than the first film. I will say it is 100 times better than the first film. I don't know how more detail I can get of how better it is. I think it's ridiculous of how better it is, and how disrespectful Whedon was. Especially, I just watched Grace, who does Beyond the Trailer or whatever, behind the trailer, and she said in one of the parts of the is that Josh Whedon, basically, the bit when Flash is saving everyone, he said that he cut that because the audience won't get it, and I find that very insulting. Yeah, it's very insulting that your own, that someone would come in, especially someone who would just come in and he's not actually being developed as a director in the DC EU, and he just comes in, he's like, oh, the audience won't get it because we're not smart enough. What do I think of the end? The ending. I found the ending very good. No. I found the ending not necessarily very good. Oh, with Joker, sorry. Yeah, with Joker, I found that Joker, he was good. If we're comparing it to the Suicide Squad, you got Suicide Squad, and then you got Justice League, and they did him so faithful in this film. I don't think he was amazing, but it's a bit unfair because he only had a 2 minute scene, or not even that, and it's such a good dynamic between him and Batman. You can tell the rage and you can tell the intensity behind their backstory with Jason Todd and everything. And yeah, you can just see the level of hate that he doesn't want to work with him, of course, but it's the last resort that he has, and you could just see that in just the acting. And I prefer his voice in this one as well. It doesn't sound like a dog growling in this one, which I loved. Also, it was cool to see Slade Wilson. Do you think there will be another part of the film? Oh, do you mean like part 2? If you mean like part 2, I think there will. It's hard to say. It depends on the response that Justice League, the Zack Snyder Justice League gets. I think that if it gets a good response, I think that. I mean, look at this. We got the director's vision, Zack Snyder's vision, out, and that was just fans bombarding Warner Brothers. So it sort of reminds me of the whole Deadpool situation where the movie Deadpool had test footage, and then they was like, "Hey, make it," and they made it, and we got a Deadpool film. But it's same with this one. Is like. And it kind of hit me in the heart when he said, "This is at the end. It was for autumn," which is really, it hit me because it's not only this is art for him, or this is a personal project, but this is dedicated to a lost loved one as well. And it was so, I felt it was so significant. This is so significant in his life that he's come back and he's paid respect to her and paid respect to everyone. And not only has he done us as the audience faith, and he actually made a good movie, should I say, so I can actually put this up a high ranking for the movie. But yeah, I just can't get over of how good this movie is. I've gone to every DC film, and I've compared them, I've looked over them, and Batman vs Superman, I found them good. I found it alright. I never found it a good movie. This isn't a good movie. This is a great movie. I can't believe how great this movie is. And the Whedon cut's such a poor film. I was going into this movie thinking, oh, it's going to be a good movie, or it's going to be alright. It's not going to be great, but I think it's going to be alright. And then I was so surprised of how much was cut. I knew that a lot was cut, but I didn't realise how, like I said before, it was 50% cut. That's crazy. It was like 2 hours of Whedon, the Justice League we've seen, and then we have 2 hours of new footage. You had a scene of Atlanteans getting dragged onto the land, getting interrogated, where we get context of how he found the next mother box. That little bit there was so good and significant, especially with the little the drone thing. I felt was so good. I can't believe it was ever cut, but it was unfortunately cut. And we didn't have no joke about in the first part, the Flash was a joke. Yeah. Like I said before, the introduction for Flash was a very, very miss for me. I found that Flash, unfortunately, was a big miss in the first start of the film. I found that his delivery on a lot of it. The thing is, when he was getting serious and it was getting intense, that's when Flash stood out to me. I felt like it was so hard because I always find his run so funny, but first move 2. Wait, what? First move 2? Oh right, yeah. And but yeah, it was like the bits with his dad and him. It was good. All that was good. We've seen it before anyway, but it was really good. And and then we have the whole him going into the Speed Force, and then you see like the Cyborg's face slowly coming together, and it. To me, this story, this way of telling it, was way better, way better than the Whedon cut. The Whedon cut was so stupid. It's like Motherbot. We'd seen it before. Oh, guy wants to conquer the world, all that. Yes, that's the ideal thing what Darkseid wants to do, but we reference Darkseid and we know how powerful he is. But we see him, and like I said, it was sort of like a Thanos thing where it's like, fine, I'll do it myself. When Steppenwolf gets his head chopped off, and then he's like, okay, I'm bringing the army, screw these guys, I'm gonna kill them. And it was so, I was there like, yes. And then after watching the movie, I'm like, no, will we get a part 2? I hope we get a part 2. And I'm just thinking to myself, will it ever happen? Do you think Zack Snyder will come back? And I think Zack Snyder would definitely come back if he got a contract for a part 2. The Flash in the first movie and the second was pretty weird. I'm going to stick with the TVs. Yeah, I mean, it's always hard because I think it's the direction of where they go with the Flash, and I get that they try to be different. Hopefully they resurrect him as a character in the No Flash movie. Hopefully they sort that run out, but I don't think they'll sort the run out. But hopefully instead of blue we'll get yellow, which will be really cool. And I think that if we get the yellow Speed Force, well, the yellow No Lightning, we'll be like, yay, this is actually Flash, instead of this blue sort of thing. Which, I don't know about you, but the blue, it didn't bother me too much. But I always resonate with Flash with Yellow Lightning, just because the blue one reminds me too much of, like, say, Quicksilver. I know that he doesn't really have lightning, but it just reminds me too much of Quicksilver for some reason. And I think that it, not that it put a bad mouth in my taste, but it's hard to relate. I like Red Mo. Yeah, like I gotta admit, I really loved his outfit in the sort of the apocalyptic Darkseid world. I loved his suit in that, and I was there like, oh, we got a mustache. He looks so cool in that one, and then we get this Dark Superman. The only cameo I didn't really find significant, I guess, except from if you have Martian Manhunter, he did help Lois Lane sort of be there, move on, all that sort, help them. But I felt like they just put him on there. Also, I might have missed it, but I thought Green Lantern was going to be in this, unless they replaced that with the Martian Manhunter, which they might have. I know that we obviously had Green Lantern, one of the Green Lanterns for the ancient fight scene, but I didn't. But we've already seen that before, so I don't know. I don't really know how to feel about it. Hopefully, if we do get a part 2, we can introduce the Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, and yeah, it'll be really good. They should just stick with Ryan Reynolds just for the laughs. No, but I think. Yeah, it was a really good experience, and I I had so much fun watching this. How did you get on with your experience of the film? Because mine was... I knew that it was going to be this long 4-hour film. I knew that I was getting into a experience, as you would say. So I just wanted to just chill out, watch this. And then I think it was the first part, I was there like, okay, this is pretty cool, And then second part, getting into more. And then you have the character developments through them as well. And I'm not going to lie, it really hit me so hard that you have the woman at the cash machine, and she's and you see Victor, put I believe 100,000 or 100 million, I think it was 100,000 in her bank account, and sometimes that sort of stuff can come out corny, but I felt so sad because I can relate to it. You just look at your bank account, it's not, there's not a lot there, and then it just goes to 100,000. So I just there like, wow, I'm so happy for her, and I'm so glad for the character because it's such a redeeming quality for Cyborg. So it was pretty good for me. Yeah, I did not expect so much, and that's why I liked the movie more. Yeah, like you expect with a lot of director's cut, there's a little bits of 15 minute, 20 minutes added there to give context to this story and all that. That's good and all, but this ain't a director's cut. This is, to me, like I said, to me this is art. This tells me that, I think someone said this, I think it's Grace Beyond the Trailer or whatever said that you can teach this at schools. You can show film students what the difference is in between having directors and executives getting involved in what the vision means. They basically stopped this vision because they thought it was going to be too gritty and that. I can say, yes, it's a lot grittier, and it's more sophisticated, but it was amazing. And if you want an amazing film, like the Joker film, then this is the film for you. I don't think this will have a bad response. I think there's a couple of F-bombs in here, but you could still show it to a family who's heard of the kids have heard an F-bomb before, and they don't mind some brutal kills and that. I don't think that's a problem. I just feel like everything nowadays gets a bit, people get a bit too touchy, and people get a bit too. I think this film shows that there is an element of where on the film side you can be more creative, and that's what I love. I love that I can look back at this and go, wow, the director got his vision out, and not only did it succeed in such. If we're looking at the Whedon cut, Whedon's on a donkey and Zack's on a horse, and that's the race, and clearly, Zack. I feel sorry about his. I believe it was his sister, who died unfortunately. But just them extra bits. I don't know what extra it was, but I believe obviously Apocalypse bit and all that. But everything was worth watching in this film. I'm so glad that this was done because now it shows to people that yes, it works and the film works. So stop moaning about saying, oh, that Justice League was terrible. It wasn't. It was actually really good. It's just someone decided to rewrite the story, and now it's so much better. I don't mean to rant on and all that. I'm tired of people when they say about this, the Justice League so bad, and then we actually watch it, and it's good. It's good. What's this? We cannot attack the director from the first film because he had a long film that he would fix, and in the short time only. I'm not attacking the director because not everything is down to him, and I think you're right. I don't think it's always the director's fault. I can say a few things that about his accusations to some of the actors, his mistreatment to some of the actors, making it too much into a Marvel film. Even what really upset me is that he treated it like a Marvel film, and that's what my worry was at the start. Was like, oh, we got a Marvel director. This isn't a Marvel film. This is a DC film. Very different tones, and he went for the Marvel tone, and it really upset me because, I went out feeling conflicted of the film. I was there like, I really wanted it to be good, but it wasn't good. And in my head at the time, I was there like, it has to be good, but I know it's not good. And when I rewatched it, it confirmed to me it wasn't. As well as him putting the little jokes in and everything. Look at the bit when him and Wonder Woman, they land on top of each other. And then you have that awkward little moment. It's not in this. And I love that. I was there like, wow. We don't have to sexualize Wonder Woman because we just get to see her as a badass. They gave him a long movie and they wanted to fix it. I agree, they did give him quite a long movie. And my point is, rewrite it into a film where you're going to make it 2 parts. You should never have a project where you have a 4-hour and then cut it down. You should just start from the basics and take elements from that film, carry on with the dark side, and don't have as many characters in, I would say. Start with that, and then you can go on to your part 2 where you do an introduction. What makes this one work is we know it's sort of like a book. We know it's chapters, and each chapter feels so significant to the story. Whilst the film feels the Whedon cut feels too rushed, too fast, too that. And I understand that they had only they had a 4-hour film to cut into 2 hours and that. So that's down to executives, but it's also down to Whedon as well, because he is the director, and at the end of the day, the director makes the calls. The director is the one who says, look, this part of the story is not working. Also, he has so much influence on the script. If I saw the script, I would have laughed at it. I would have laughed so hard. It's so poor what came out, and then we look at now we look at this one, the original story, and it's so much better. And I think it was the same with the Joker film. They thought the script was awful, terrible, and then it turns out to be one of the best films of the year. So, you know what I mean? I think it's down also to the executives, as they are very nervous of taking that next step level, and because they're not used to this gritty version of DC. They're only used to the comic books, because obviously they know that has a specific audience. The thing is that DC wanted to do like Marvel, but now they started to realize that they can do better if they start being DC. Exactly. Something that I said significantly is DC does their best when they're themselves. When they're not themselves, I feel like it's a miss. I already know that Wonder Woman 2 is going to be sort of like a Marvel romantic film, which is a real shame. It's like I found that Wonder Woman 1 it had its dark tone to it. I felt like I find it more better than the first Avenger, because you feel so significantly attached to Diana, because you just see these poor people getting killed. Whilst in First Avenger, I don't think they really, they don't really like emphasize on it as much. But I agree that if DC carries on like the Zack Snyder, depending on, look at the Batman with Robert Pattinson. Everyone was like really hyped for that because, look at the fight scene. They're not holding back. You have a whole scene where he's just brutally beating someone down. So, I found that very, I found it very interesting. Also, I believe, I might have missed it, but I believe there was no scene as well that Batman finds a parademon in this film, which was really good. Aquaman is a good movie, for example. Yeah, Aquaman is a very good film. But I don't think you can go too gritty with Aquaman. Like, you can go dark, but you can't go too dark with Aquaman because it's Aquaman. And I think a lot of that's down to Jason Momoa as an actor. I think he brings in... if you look at it, it's like that film would have been really cheesy in that if it wasn't Jason Momoa. He's just that sort of actor who will roll with that. Like, he knows what role he's getting into, and he nails it. And that's what I liked Aquaman as well. I thought it was a good movie. It was such a thrill and fun ride. Also, I believe it's quite a long film as well, Aquaman. I want to say is it a long film? Then you've got who's that? James Wan, I believe, who directed Conjuring and like all the horror ones. So yeah, I mean it's and Fast and Furious. That's it. But it's a hard miss. Do you think Black Adam will be good? I think it's hard to tell. Because you could go with the anti-hero route where he actually is good, or you can actually stick with he is a villain, and I want to see a villain film. I don't know, like we had Joker. Like, he ain't a good guy. He is a villain. We can sympathize. We can empathize with him. We can feel for him. We can understand why he's doing it, but he's still a villain. And that's what I want Black Adam to be, is like, I want him to have a significant reason of why he wants this power. And I think in the Shazam and Superman film, the Shazam film, not the theatrical one, the live action, the one where it's animated, I think that the animated one's so good because it's a line that I'll always remember, which is something, it goes on something like... do you crush an ant because you feel, when you crush an ant, do you feel superior to it, or do you crush it? Do you crush it accidentally, or do you crush it because you feel you're the superior one? And stuff like them lines so stick because I understand where he comes from. It's like, if we was an ant compared to us now, we do feel more superior, and that's how he feels to humans. So I hope they go that sort of route where it's like, I want him to be this very powerful, because then we'll have a very powerful villain for Shazam 2. I think it's Shazam 2 he's in, I believe. That, and it's done by Dwayne Johnson, so depending on the route they go, but I think it's a perfect casting, personally, for it. I don't think it's down to Dwayne Johnson. I think it's down to the director and the writers and everything. I think it's their job to get this character right, which I have faith. And it would be awesome to see him versus Billy Batson. I just all I can say is that I'm excited for the future of DC. I'm excited to see what will come out of it. But yeah, if you got any else questions or anything like that, just put it down in the comments below, or should I say chat? I'm so used to doing it the YouTube way, which is weird. But yeah, if you got any more questions. I see you every day. Also, if you got any else questions or anything like that after I finished, I started to see Marvel die. Wait, what do you mean by you started to see Marvel die? Do you mean that with the whole TV show thing? Yeah. But yeah, it was. I think with Marvel, I just think. Oh wait, they do not have good movies in the future. What movies have they got in the future? I mean, they do have good films. They have one. I can't agree on that opinion because I think they do have good movies. Unless you mean, I think they're out of ideas. No, you have Doctor Strange into the multi madness. I'm intrigued on that one because I believe Tobey Maguire's coming back. You have a big one for me personally because I've always been a Spider-Man fan. He's always been a little to my heart. To be fair, Spider-Man, so I'm looking forward to the third film as it will have all three of them. So I'm sort of, as you would say, geeking out for that film. I'm very looking forward to watching the Spider-Man 3 film. I'm not fussed about. I'm looking forward to the X-Men coming in as well. I believe they're coming in. Fantastic Four. Hopefully they'll do a good one this time. Yes, but those new superhero heroes are not something I'm waiting for. Okay. So what superheroes would you be waiting for? Let's get a Tom Cruise Iron Man. No, but the Guardian of the Galaxy with Thor might be interesting. I'm not looking forward to Thor 4 because I believe they're passing the mantle onto what's her name? I forget her name, but the actress who was in Thor 2 and Thor 1 and 2. Yeah, Spider-Man is. I always say that the new Spider-Man, Tom Holland, he's my favourite because I think he does both good. The problem I had with the ones in the past is that I think Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker is really good, whilst I don't think his Spider-Man's that great. I think the action scenes are cool. Did I say Tobey Maguire? Yeah, Tobey Maguire. And then Andrew Garfield, I find his Spider-Man better than his Peter Parker. His Peter Parker's quite bad. But the second one didn't do him justice though, which is a shame because I do like Andrew Garfield. Like Tobey Maguire, don't get me wrong, Tobey Maguire is really good. But the new one, Tom Holland, I think for me he checks all the boxes as a Spider-Man, and just the way he is and the person he is, I just love him as a person. I just think he's a genuine nice person. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. But But if we go back onto the DC, I think it's a real shame that Ben Affleck won't get his Batman film, unfortunately, especially after seeing this. I think he had a lot of potential, especially at the end when we find out that Slade Wilson knows his name, which is so significant because that could have been a nice little tease to the Batman Ben Affleck film. Yeah, his age is perfect for the film. Which they did really good on that, actually, to be fair. But yeah, going back to Batman. I'm looking forward to the Robert Pattinson one. I think he's. A lot of people aren't. Well, there's a good majority of people who aren't looking forward to it, but I think. Look at Joker. It was very different, but it worked. And same with Batman. It's probably going to work. And we don't need Joker at the front Joker as the front center. We're gonna have Riddler, and it's gonna be a pretty cool film. So yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of fun with that one as well. But yeah, but this is all the time I've got, unfortunately. Which is a real shame because I was really enjoying the talk, but I've got to get some sleep because I'm up early for university. So, I hope you all. I hope you stick with me. I hope you carry on watching me. And I've loved this chat, by the way. If you do want to follow me, just follow me on the Instagram or Twitter. Mainly Instagram because I will probably message you back if you do send a message or a question of what content you want to see. And I'll get that. But other than that, all I can say is I really hope you have a good night or wherever you live, a good day. And I love you all, and I shall see you. I shall see you to the next one. Mainly probably doing a video game and getting back into it.